We're here to provide an update on the extraordinary situation with water distribution that Henrico County and much of our region have been dealing with since yesterday. This is a fluid situation that we could not have anticipated. We know, and I want to take a moment here, we know that the winter storm and power outages have already made the lives of many of our residents difficult. So I want to personally apologize because I am the county manager, and the mantra is that accountability stops with leadership. And so I want to apologize for the additional suffering that this has caused to many of our residents. But there is a story here, and I want to be clear in that story. First off, before getting into that, I want to emphasize that our Henrico's water is clean. Okay, so if anything that you all can do as members of the media to continue to put that information out, our water is clean and safe to drink. If you are a customer of Henrico County Public Utilities and pay a county water bill, you do not have to boil your water. Please know that we're working using all available resources that we have to restore service as soon as possible to all of our residents and businesses. We know there are issues of low and even no water pressure for customers in some areas east of Interstate 95. Now, these issues started actually yesterday with Libby Mill, Willow Lawn, St. Mary's Hospital being impacted. And that is because we all, as a region, share water. And so we are working diligently to restore pressure to everyone as soon as possible. But going back to Libby Mill and Willow Lawn, we had low water pressure in those areas. Glenwood Farms was actually impacted overnight. What we are seeing east of 95 is either low water pressure or no water pressure in many areas. So why did this happen? How did this happen? As a background, these issues arose Monday after the City of Richmond's water treatment plant flooded and lost power. As a result of concerns about contaminated water reaching our customers, the city actually issued a boil water advisory for its customers. Again, remember, we all share water. So the first thing that Henrico County did was shut off all water coming in from the City of Richmond. Where there could have been better communication is the notification that we received from the City of Richmond. It took a number of hours for us to get that information, and we were not able to fill our system as much as we would have liked to have done. That's part of the story and why we are here today. So all water customers in Henrico County are now connected to the county's water treatment plant in the far west end. All of the water in Henrico is coming from Henrico. So as you can imagine, it's not a simple task to move water all the way across the county. Our issues early this morning were further complicated. Remember, we're trying to re-energize a system right after we shut off the feed from the City of Richmond. We didn't have a whole lot of time to do it, but last night, early this morning, we had a water main break in Highland Springs that literally was the straw that broke the camel's back. Again, we couldn't have predicted this, but know that we are dealing with it and using every available resource. So overnight, I had many conversations with the city manager and the county administrators in Chesterfield and Hanover County. A regional incident management team was put in place. I think the mayor may have alluded to it this morning in his press conference. Henrico is going to be declaring a state of local emergency in our county, and what that allows us to do is procure resources, materials, and equipment, and whatever we need quickly, quicker than going through our normal procurement processes. We have established a local incident management team as well that will be working with the other localities in the region. We have created a phone number that residents will be able to call. We are setting that up as we speak. We expect that it will be available after 1 o'clock. That number is 804-501-4275. To address any questions that you have, please hit option 2. Again, the number is going to be 804-501-4275. That is option 2. You are also going to hear in this presentation that we're taking care of our most vulnerable residents in our community by ensuring that water is being made available, and you will see that being made available early this afternoon. We are talking about massive amounts of water that we will need to put in place for our nursing homes and hospitals. Actually, hospitals were dealt with last night. Residents, you will hear, will be able to pick up water at local libraries. We're taking care of our schools also, as they have been off for 2 days, so we need to make sure that our schools are covered for perhaps an opening tomorrow. I want to thank Bentley Chan, our Public Utilities Director, and Rob Rowley, our Emergency Manager. Ladies and gentlemen, these folks have literally, I may have gotten a couple hours sleep last night. These two individuals have not slept because they are working tirelessly and around the clock to address the issues that we are going through. But suffice it to say that we are here, we are working as hard as we can, and Bentley is going to come forward and offer you some reasons operationally within the utilities realm, and then Rob is going to go through how just all of the efforts that emergency management is going through in dealing with this, and then I will come back at the end and take any questions that you have as we close out this press conference. Again, I want to thank you all for being here. Without further ado, Bentley Chan.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. As the manager said, the county system is interconnected with the City of Richmond system, and so when their water plant shut down and we were notified, we were able to disconnect our feeds that normally serve the central and eastern portions of the county. But without those, we've been working around the clock with our staff to make sure that water produced in the county from the Three Chop facility is moved over to the eastern part of the county to serve residents. Now, late last night, there was a water main break, possibly due to the extreme weather conditions. I am happy to report that we do have staff on site, and they are digging right now to make that repair. So once that repair is done, and we hope that we think that will be done later this afternoon. We also have staff out working to open valves that are normally closed to pull additional water into the system to provide restoration of services to residents in the area. And I do want to reiterate that we do have staff that has been working around the clock to make sure that services are restored to residents. And so as that is happening, we are in close coordination with the City of Richmond on their repairs to their facility. And so the combination of the two should provide like restoration of totally normal services to all residents of the county, but I would expect that at the very least later this afternoon, residents in the eastern part of the county should see like elevated pressure and flow in their system. It may not be totally normal, but it will be more of what they would expect from us. With that, I will turn it over to Rob Rowley.
Well, thank you, Bentley. Good morning. So again, priority number one for us is to make sure that our residents have good drinking water throughout the duration of this incident. To that, I'm very happy to report that residents can get water right now if you need it. We have tanker trucks with potable water To retrieve this water, you will need some kind of a vessel, so bring jugs, containers, anything works that you can put water in. If you need water, we have tankers with potable water at the Government East Center, as well as the East Mental Health Facility. We are also working right now to make sure that we have bottled water for folks who are better served by that. That bottled water will be available at the 4 Eastern libraries, Fairfield, Varina, Sandston, and North Park. It'll be available early this afternoon, and we will have details on social media as soon as that water is available. Again, if you come out for the bottled water, we're going to ask that it's 1 pack per family. And again, if you have questions about any information that I've discussed, again, the phone number for that call center is 804-501-4275, option 2. And we also want folks to know that we are heavily supporting Richmond International Airport with their needs, as well as area hospitals and several other healthcare facilities, so you can feel good getting services in those facilities. That is all I have at this time.
So as we close out, I want to personally thank the members of the Board of Supervisors that are here. You have Mr. Nelson from the Varina District, Mr. Cooper from the Fairfield District, Ms. Roundtree from the Three Chop District, and Mr. Rogish from the Tuckahoe District. They're here because they wanted to show their support and their intent to being part of the solution as we go forward. I do want to note and make one thing clear. As Rob noted, we have water coming to the 4 area libraries. Please don't come to the library until we put out the notice that the water is here. So we expect that water to be here early afternoon, and we will continue to replenish as needed throughout the duration of this event for our residents. So with that, I want to thank you all for coming out, and at this point, I'll open up for any questions that you may have as members of the press.
I guess I'll start first. I just wanted to maybe get an estimate as to a possible timeline as to how long it's going to take to get water fully restored to the residents in the area.
So restoration, right now, we are anticipating for residents east of 95 to see a difference this afternoon. So starting this afternoon, you are going to see, hopefully, more pressure in our system. A number of things have to happen. Number one, that water main break needs to be repaired. We are all over that and currently on that project. I anticipate that'll be done in the next hour or so. And then Bentley and utilities will be able to start pressurizing the system. But the hope is that early this afternoon you will start to see pressure increase. And literally imagine filling a bathtub and spreading that water much wider than a bathtub, because the water that we have in eastern Henrico comes from our water treatment plant that is almost at the Goochland line. So all of that takes time, but there is a solution. We are dealing with a different situation than the city of Richmond has with its water treatment plant. Ours is simply getting enough water out as soon as we can. Yes, sir.
Do we know about how many residents are impacted by this main water break and don't have water?
I don't have an answer for you, Joel. I know that all of the low and no pressure issues that we are experiencing right now are east of 295, including businesses. I've heard from several in the airport area as well as the White Oak area.
Gotcha. You also had mentioned a kind of miscommunication between the county and the city yesterday. Can you just elaborate a little bit more on what that miscommunication was and why that happened?
So there's constant communication between localities. In the snow event, for instance, there were, all the localities are coordinating, what are you all doing? What do you have out as far as equipment with the city and Henrico actually doing their own roads? Conversations about operations, when are you closing? When do you anticipate reopening? So those conversations occur all the time. What was a little unusual about this situation is the duration at which the city understood that it had an issue, and then the call that was ultimately made to public utilities and the region. But, quite frankly, you've got, we don't know what they were dealing with. So I don't want to be, say, the city should have notified us quicker. We do have folks that are helping the city with restoring the water treatment plant. That's one of the things that came out of this regional incident management team. So Henrico has folks, Chesterfield has folks, and Hanover has folks that are working right now to help continue to pressurize that facility. But, you have a storm, then you have a situation in the city of Richmond. We could not have predicted the water main break. But I want to be clear on one thing, and that is just, I understand how much of an issue this is for families in Henrico County. So that's why the first thing I wanted to do was apologize for the county that you are going through this, and we will do everything to make it right.
Is there any concern with the snow winter weather that's supposed to be moving through on Saturday? Is that something you guys are currently discussing, I guess, with the issues that are going on right now, and like a backup plan for what might happen with that?
So that is anticipated to be a snow event. So by Saturday, we fully expect that we will be behind this water issue. I don't want to speak for the city of Richmond, but it seems like they are making headway. So hopefully, their residents also have clean, drinkable water by then, and then it'll be another snow event that we deal with, and we'll throw every resource that we have at it.
Could you maybe go a little bit more in depth about like hospitals, elder care facilities, kind of what that looks like getting water to people, and then if you can go further into schools and what it might take for a school to be fully prepared, or if families maybe need to expect to not be able to go to school?
So this is an excellent, so thank you for asking that question, because last night there was an issue with VCU where the emergency room, I think, was not accepting patients. St. Mary's was impacted. The first thing we did with St. Mary's was get them water. We were able to do everything that we needed to do to restore that operation. We were really worried about losing 2 level 1 hospitals in the region, because our EMS would have been put, and the whole regional EMS system would have been put into a situation where you have someone that is hurt and you have no place to take them, or you have to take them really far. So that was dealt with. We actually, Henrico was able to help VCU with some water as well, as we were doing the St. Mary's, dealing with that issue. But the nursing homes, calls are coming in. So one of the things that this regional incident management team will do is Henrico's starting to get calls about nursing homes all over the region in the city of Richmond. We're able to use this regional team to be able to direct resources to those nursing homes. We're going to do everything that we can, and just know that everybody is working as hard as they can. I expect this early afternoon to be really kind of a bellwether change in what we're dealing with here.
Is there like a threshold that you guys are looking to meet to start sharing water with Richmond again, to open that sort of sharing process up? Or are you going to wait until they're fully online again and everything is restored? Or do you guys have an expectation as to when that might?
The expectation is safe, drinkable water. So the city's going to have to go through a process where first they have to get water, right? The water treatment plant working. And then the Department of Health, the Virginia Department of Health, has a series of tests that they do. I believe there's an initial test as far as safety of what they're cleaning, and then they have to wait 16 hours to do a second test. So when they pass that second test, at some point we would begin accepting water back from the city. But the sharing of water in our region is something that goes back many, many years. Henrico County, if you go back far enough, we didn't have a water treatment plant. We actually had water that came in from the city of Richmond, and then over the years we've been able to build a robust utility system. That sharing Our region is really wide. It's big. And it's not just Henrico, it's Hanover, it's Chesterfield. All of us really share that resource. And for many, many years, it's been a system that has worked. And there will be a post-op on this, I assure you, on Henrico County side. I am certain that the city will do a post-op regionally on what happened, and there may be lessons learned. And based on those lessons learned, we may change some of the practices that we have undertaken all these years.
I know you mentioned briefly the airport. I just wanted to get maybe a synopsis or a background as to what kind of issues that they're facing over there.
So I just got off the phone literally within the past hour with the executive director of the airport. Rob Rowley has actually been working on that issue, and I'm going to ask you to come forward and speak to just the fact de-icing and all of everything that's involved.
Yes, sir. So like most of this, their problems focus around water. So they need drinkable water, which we're providing for folks who are in the airport, as well as just restroom facilities that work, which we're also providing or moving over there for them. But most importantly, getting them large quantities of non-drinkable water that they are actually using for de-icing operations on their aircraft to make sure that the aircraft can fly safely.
Have there been any flight delays because of this situation?
I know for a fact there were some delays yesterday because of the weather. I'm not aware of any from today.
Yes. So, two questions. One, about the post-op evaluation for this event. As you said, it's pretty unprecedented how this may have occurred. Can we get just a definitive timeline of when the county and the city sort of have knew when the water main break had happened? I think there's been a lot of confusion just about the details of that event, which has led us to today. So is there anything that you or Mr. Chan can tell us about that event?
So I can't give you down to the minute, Lyndon, but as I understand it, there was the issue in the city started early yesterday morning. We were notified early yesterday afternoon.
And the second question is clerical about the water tankers particularly. Do you know how long or how much water that you will have in case this event will last longer than you expect?
It will keep replenishing, and there will be water at those two locations, which, by the way, are on 9 Mile Road. Our Eastern Government Center's on 9 Mile Road. The mental health facility is literally right down the street. And we may expand that as necessary.
For businesses that are operating right now and they might not have water, we just got a tip about libraries not having water for employees to wash their hands. What should they do? And will there be any help for them or any kind of regulations? What does that look like?
I mean, they are in the same boat as our residents. So as soon as we're able to restore water service, they will be back up and running. We do have throughout the county some businesses that do use quite a bit of water. And I understand the inconvenience. I apologize for it, but we're working as hard as we can and as fast as we can to get it back to them.
Just going back to the water main break in Highland Springs, it was mentioned that the weather could have been a reason why that water main break had broke. Are there any other reasons why, that little burst is causing so much trouble in Henrico?
So we have water main breaks all the time. When the temperature changes or drops like it has, the number of water main breaks increases. And so you go back to the timeline that I established for you when, we cut off the water to the city and we start filling our system, and we're filling it as fast as we can, we're spreading water throughout the county. And it literally is coming from the west to the east. And so we had anticipated that everything would be fine. But ultimately, that water main break was, as I noted, the straw that broke the camel's back. And we knew we were going to have some reduced pressure in certain areas of the east as we were energizing the system. We never anticipated this. All right, let's go with, is this last question? Anybody else? Okay.
Just one last one for me. Do you have any tips to the residents as to winterizing their homes and helping them so that they don't have any water issues with their pipes at their house?
Bentley?
Thank you for the question. We actually got it earlier today. And so under normal conditions, we recommend, as most experts recommend, to leave faucets cracked during the winter so that if water is flowing, that means less likelihood for freezing. I actually spoke with one of our fire chiefs earlier in this process, and he had an irrigation system that had broken because of freezing pipes. And so we also recommend kind of insulating pipes that are exposed to outside air. So something like a towel wrapped around a pipe insulates it from the wind. We would also recommend, but this is kind of proactively winterizing your irrigation systems. But as long as you have electricity to your home, your heat is on, and if your heat is on, your pipes should be protected from any cold air that comes through. Now, if your power is off, hopefully your water is still on, and you can keep some of those faucets running. Thank you.
All right, I want to thank everyone for coming out this afternoon. Thank you, and have a great day, everybody.